Mike check, Mike check. How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm stoked, man. Stoked to be talking to you and appreciate the time tonight.
Of course, man. Likewise.
So, want to get into the new album and the tour, of course, and talk a little US. But dude, let's start with this
Yep.
album. Killer album coming out on April the 5th. Half Living Things, your third album, and kind of cool concept of writing the album with the live stage in mind, like really thinking about crowd participation and writing the music and lyrics around that. Talk to me about that philosophy for this album.
Um, I think with every album prior, we always try to keep the live setting in mind, but it's not something you realize until you've played the songs live, what you would change and how different you would do it. So I think we just spent a bit more time jamming these and just really studying and looking at the videos and looking to see like how differently we play our old songs to yeah, I don't know. It's a really hard thing to imagine, but we just really tried to focus on that this time around.
Hmm. And a little bit of a theme and concept of the album as well, lyrically.
Honestly, like that always comes at the back end of it because I'm super sporadic with my writing. I can't keep a straight concept going whatsoever. But I don't think another thing you don't realize it till afterwards because no matter what, you're always going to be a certain sphere when you're writing music, whether you know that or not. So you come out the other end of it and you're just like, I guess I was on a sort of similar tangent. So let me try to quantify this and wrap this up into one sentence, you know?
I love it, man. I love it. It comes out swinging, but there's also a lot of melody in the music now too, and kind of stepping in a different direction in light with some of that.
Yeah. Yeah. We've always had that in us and we're always going to. Whether or not we pull it off every time is a different story, but we're always going to try. You know, it's not our bread and butter, but we still, we're doing it.
And dude, no way to not talk about it, but sucks to suck. Tell me
Yeah.
about getting the legendary Ice T on that track, dude. How did that all happen, man?
Honestly, man, I got to think of a cooler way to tell this story because it's pretty industry. It was very emaily and lawyery. Like, there's not much to say about it, but like, yeah, we just pretty much reached for the stars. We sort of drew some connections between our management and other bands' management, and how many degrees of separation does it take to get to certain people or whatever? And we did the math, and we were just like, wait a minute, I bet our manager knows so and so. And then lo and behold, we got in touch. The song landed on his lap, and he fucked with it enough that he spat he did his thing on it.
It's amazing. I mean, even if it's not the most exciting story, he still chose to do it. He could have said no.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you got to do when you work with the big dogs, I guess.
Swing for the fences, right? And then
Yeah, I'm not running into iced tea on the street anytime soon. Like
did you give him any direction or just said do something and he just did his thing?
God, no, no, none of us were like, we're not telling this man what to do. Like he understood the assignment though. We had the section, and none of us really knew what to expect, but like still wanted that in the ballpark. We didn't want like a fully rappy part. We didn't want a really heavy screamy part. We just wanted someone to come in and be like, just lay it down for a couple seconds, man, and then dip. Like that's all we wanted.
Well, that's what he does, man. He's so like authoritative.
Yeah, literally. That's the thing. He's like the presence on the track is enough.
And cool that he did the video too, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that was essential. As soon as we locked the feature in, the labels were just like, whatever we have to do to get this done, we're doing it. Like we went full steam ahead. And like Ice T and his camp were super, like they were down for it and everything. They were excited. Like they weren't, I thought it was going to be hard and difficult. But they were like super eager. They wanted to work.
So were you guys actually in the same room? Because it looks like it in the video, but I could also see it being like
Yeah.
kind of photoshopped.
Yeah. So there were like two different shoots, and we didn't have him in the first bunch of scenes. So a few weeks later, when we were still in the States, we hooked up with him in like Brooklyn, I think, with like a different studio space and a different setup and shit. But like we had to, like, we weren't going to do the video if we couldn't have him in it, sort of thing. So yeah, we were all there like stupid o'clock waiting for him to come in and start shooting. And then our producer just comes in. It's just like, everybody, our cool is here. And then like 10 seconds later, he just walks into the room and we're just like, comes down by himself in his Bentley, like
Wow.
just solo. Yeah. Very badass.
Did you get to chop it up with him a little bit before filming the video?
Yeah. We were like, it took a bit because obviously we were terrified. We were also like 5 weeks into a America tour. So we were like hooked as we didn't know what was happening. We didn't believe it or anything. And then like he sort of like pretty much immediately like sat down on the couch and was just like, you guys want to hear some new music? And we were just like, all right. Like just took over our producer's like Bluetooth speaker and just immediately put us in like demo jail, starts showing us new body count. Like it's just like, what do you say? It's just like, this song I made out of 2 notes. See if you can tell which notes they are. And like it was like the Iron Man riff or something like that, but Aussie. And it was just like, I don't know, like it was wild. Like he was just like, yeah, check this out. And we were like, yeah, we were frothing it. We were absolutely loving it.
That wasn't a bad impersonation. You did a pretty good there, man.
I've gone harder with it too, but like this is publicized, so I'm gonna keep it under wraps.
Well, dude, and did you guys ever come up with an? You guys look like you had a blast filming that video. Did you ever come up with a name for the monster guy? Does he have a name?
We didn't actually. Like,
What?
I think we were sort of waiting for like the fans to coin something like in relation to something to do with our lore, but I don't know. Maybe he'll appear again, and we'll add a bit of a story arc there as well.
Yeah, you need your own like Eddie from Iron Maiden. You need your own like alien mascot
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but we literally just did a tour with Motionless in White, and they have a giant I forget what he's called, what he is. It's a big zombie thing, but yeah, all the fans knew him. Like they know him by name. Like we definitely need one of them.
You do. And dude, looking forward to the tour, man. Your first US headline tour. Gonna be in
Yeah.
LA April 13th, Regent Theater, downtown LA, and bringing
Yeah.
out Unity and Chamber. And dude, Frankie Palmieri and Emmure,
Yeah.
he's got to have been a big influence on you, right?
Yeah, I mean, you listen to the band and it's pretty obvious to see the influence there. Like, we're almost sort of like, maybe not so now, but definitely in the early days, that was all we used to cop online, just like Emmure Junior, like, and I literally think like in the early days of the band, before I had anything to do with it, like the 2 founding members saw Emmure at a show and then immediately started writing different music. Like they were writing like straight edge hardcore, like positive hardcore. And they were just like, no, they went and bought a whammy pedal and it was all over.
They're phenomenal. I saw them, God, I think back in November with We Came as Romans.
We came, yeah.
Yeah, and they were Frankie's still bringing it, man.
Right, dude. Yeah, have not missed a beat whatsoever. Like we were, because it was a weird little return thing for them, and we were hyped because like we had all this booked, but we wanted to know how all the shows were going. And then as soon as they played the first show, everyone was just like, "Oh yeah, it's Emmure. That's right. Like how could we forget?" And then even then, we just had them over in Australia for a massive festival we did in Brisbane, and it was like kids, just like a waterfall of kids over the barrier the whole set. Like, yeah, they were duly missed.
Yeah, they're great. And they're good. I forget his name, but the guitar player is great and amazing to watch on stage as well.
Josh Travis, yeah, he's like, that's the thing. He's like, even before Scotty was in Alpha Wolf, one of his like greatest influences from like Glass Cloud and stuff like that.
Yeah, you just watch that dude all night. The whole show.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's an absolute riot.
Dude, talk to me about setlist now with the 3rd album. I imagine you're gonna be playing a lot of new tracks from the Half Living Things. It's a Half Living Things tour, so you kind of got to.
Yeah.
Have you figured that out yet?
Yeah, we're constantly doing that. We're trying to get 2 set lists going at the moment, and it's freaking confusing because, like you said, there's a whole slew of new songs we've got to play, but it's also our first proper headline in America. So we still have to play the old songs that people may not have heard yet. So we're juggling it. I don't know. I sort of hate when a band comes out with a new album, their set is very new song heavy, especially if you don't know how you feel about the album yet. So I don't know. We're very conscious of that. We want to be able to please both. But that's the thing. If the album is like everybody loves it through and through, we don't know. Like everybody wants to hear every song. So yeah, it's going to be a balance. But yeah, we're still nutting that one out.
Dude, and I'm kind of curious, man. You've toured the U.S. before, obviously, and
Yeah.
toured the States, toured California, and toured SoCal. When you see dates in the U.S. or in SoCal, is there anything you look forward to, like food wise, drink wise, In and Out hamburger, tacos, burritos? Is there anything that you're like, oh man, I'm coming through SoCal, I know I'm gonna get?
Honestly, Mexican in SoCal, like
That's what I
you've
was
got to no, like nowhere specific. I'm vegetarian most part anyway, so it's
okay.
sort of difficult. So I usually just float around. But that's the best thing about those places adjacent to where it all comes from is it's just like you can just float around and get the best food you've ever had. Like, so nowhere too specific. I'm an avid like penny pincher at Taco Bell. Hey, like I'm disgraceful with that sort of thing.
Dollar menu
Um,
and everything.
dude, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. The weather mostly SoCal. That's what like California's good for.
Well, go back to
I don't know.
the Mexican food for a second. Taco versus
Yeah.
burrito.
Tacos in America because tacos in America are a different game to Australia. They're so much more like genuine.
You mean like a
But
Taco Bell taco or like a street taco?
regardless, it's the same. Like Taco Bell tacos are more genuine than like a Ridgy Didge taco in Australia. Like they just can't get it right. But like the burritos in Australia, they get. I don't understand it. Like they just miss the mark. But like something about tacos, like in America, it's all on a big messy thing, and something about it just works. Yeah,
Beef,
probably tacos there.
beef, chicken, pork. What's your flavor?
Well, I'm super into shrimp tacos, like because I do
Ah,
seafood outside of meat. But any sort of veggie filling they got, like sofritas and stuff like that, or just like the grilled veggies, I'm down for it. Like I scoff it.
love it, man.
I
Well,
like that's my big problem with America, man. I gotta like we're going there so regular. I need a way better of a workout routine because it's like I get carried away.
dude, I appreciate all the time. Last thing I wanted to hit you up about, loved your guest spot on the Boundaries track at Pale
Yeah.
Light Lingers. And tell me about making that one. I imagine for that one you were in the same room with them at the same time.
No, actually, that one, I freaking Caleb from Invent Animate hit me up and he said, "Hey man, would you feature on a Boundaries song?" And I was just like, Why the hell are you asking me?" Like, what's like, what the hell?" He's just like, "Oh, I'm with them now," and they were like, I don't know, they were like nervous. They didn't want to ask you yet, and I was just like, "Dude, what the hell? They're like the scariest band ever. Of course, I want to do that." And then like I think Corey messaged me like the next day and sent me the track, and I was just like, "Ah, so on." I was in America at the time when I got it though, and I think I like wanted to record it right away because I loved it so much, but I ended up getting it done like 3 months later or something because I had to get it done at home. Um, yeah. Also, I was just nervous as hell because like usually I'm pretty confident when I'm doing a guest spot, but their vocalist is like a freak. Like that dude intimidates me. He has the most insane, like just gnarly, aggressive voice ever. And I was like sort of shook in the studio. I was just like, oh man, I actually got to like bring it here. So yeah, that was fun. That was exciting, and I'm stoked. Like I've heard the rest of the record as well, and it's just like, yeah, it's nonsense.
Yeah, I've only heard the two tracks, but looking forward to that. And they're coming through the States too, a little bit behind you. We got them in Orange County on May 17th at Chain Reaction. So looking
Yeah,
forward to
sick.
that.
I'm dying to catch them live. I've never seen them.
Me
I've watched
neither.
like 100 videos, never actually seen them live, but I hear it's like something to behold.
Yeah, yeah. Super looking forward to that. Dude, I appreciate all the time. Last thing I got to hit you with, we're an old school kind of radio station. We do a feature called Mandatory Metallica every night at
Yeah,
10 p.m., which you're going to be a part of.
yeah.
Shaking your head sideways. Are you a Metallica fan?
Hell no, dude. I know like two Metallica songs, and it's like one and Enter Sandman. So I'm sorely disappointed, but it's very funny because our guitarist Sabian is like an absolute nerd. So he's gonna absolutely crumble when he watches this.
Call him up real quick. Get him on the Zoom. What
What
out?
was it?
Well, I was just gonna, yeah, because I was kind of curious. I have a
I'll
little.
answer it anyway. I'll answer to the best of my ability.
All right, so it's a little Metallica debate I have going on because Metallica,
Yeah,
those One and Enter Sandman, more of their more popular stuff, but they started out really heavy when they were a thrash
yeah,
metal band. I think their two thrash metal albums are Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, and so I like
yeah.
in that little debate. If you had to pick between one of those two, which one would it be? Even though you don't know either one.
What's the big song on each of those records?
So for Ride the Lightning, it's probably For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Yeah,
And then Master of Puppets is Master of Puppets. And that was
yeah.
the song Stranger Things.
Yeah. Yeah, that one. For Whom the Bell Tolls, I guess. That's a cover too, isn't it?
No, it's their song.
No, their song. Who covered? Didn't someone cover that?
Maybe. I think it's based on a book. Maybe that's what you're thinking about or something.
True. All right. Well, see, that's how extensive my Metallica knowledge is. Sorry about that.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I'm glad you played along. Some people just tap out right away. So I appreciate you having some fun and playing along with it because ultimately,
I try.
yeah, I mean, it's just music and fun. And we're all music nerds. What you do, what I do, we just love music. That's why we do what we
Yeah. 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 And that's the thing. Regardless of my knowledge of the band, like, and if I listen to them or like them or not, I can still see where it all freaking comes from. They're always like, I did like my like Slipknot studies like 2 years ago. I was not like a
Oh,
Slipknot guy
wow.
or whatever. And I went like way back, and I was just like, nobody's ideas are original. Like Slipknot did it. Like, and it's the same with bands like Metallica. Like Sabian will put on an album, and I'm just like, like I don't love most of this, but I can hear every other band that's come after this and where it's come from. I'm like, probably should get into it, but it's some of it's a bit hard to chew at this time, you know?
So did you come up more on the hip hop side and on the rap side?
I was primarily like hip hop growing up, and then got into like heavier stuff. And I've always just sort of gone back and forth between it.
Who's the greatest rapper of all time? Because I can think of an answer right away. I mean, you might be obliged to say Ice-T at this point, but
I mean, he's definitely one of the goats. He's like one of the first gangster rappers around doing it.
I'll tell you mine to buy you some time.
Who's yours?
Ice Cube all the way, baby.
Ice Cube, yeah. See, I'm like, it's so cheesy and I hate saying it, just like it's so easy to say Eminem, but as a white kid growing up in like fucking white Australia, that's all you had. But then like, I don't know, I quickly got onto other things. I think like Earl Sweatshirt is one of the greatest. He's obviously way later. He's like my age, but like the same time, he's like, I never got into the whole like emo-y, SoundCloud-y type rap or the hypey like Migos type thing. I always liked rapidy rap type stuff, but like him, Earl, Flatbush Zombies, like any New York stuff, Wu-Tang, like Inspector Deck. I love all Inspector Deck. He's got actually Inspector Deck, Esoteric, and 7L, all like three New York dudes have this group called Czarface, and they collab with like they have an album. They have like two albums with MF Doom. They have an album with Ghostface Killer. They have what's their other collab album? They just do albums with all those like old school grimy New York artists that are all like comic book caricatures and stuff like that. That type of stuff, you know, like that's the shit that I really liked. All that Wu-Tang, like Bone Thugs.
Yeah, yeah.
And another newer one that I really like that I didn't mention before, Aesop Rock. Have you ever heard of him? Not ASAP Rocky, but
Oh, no,
Aesop Rock.
no.
Yeah, no. I like it's AESOPROCK. And he's like, I don't even know how to describe him, but he's like probably like one of the greatest lyricists of all time. Like that's my game. That's my hip hop game right there. That's the only thing I got to add.
My hip hop game ended, I think, with Eminem. That's about the newest.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's where my dad checked out too. Like, because that's where I got all the earlier stuff on. Like, he put me on the colors with Ice-T. That's where I knew him from. Showed me everything. He found Eminem, then it was over for him. He's just like, oh my God, white people can rap? Never listen to anything else.
Well, man, thank you so much for the time. Can't wait to see you out there at the LA show.
Of course, bro. Thank you for having me.
Have a good one. Safe travels.
All right, be good, man. See ya.